So are you ready now? Please present again. Jamila, are you there? Please, let's not waste time. Yeah, please start. I want to start.
Okay, if we talk about the educational system in Britain, the earliest institutions were based on the cathedral school. And if we talk of the cathedral school, this we talk about the early churches, the Catholic churches. We are focusing on the Catholic churches. So there was the Oxford universities, and which was founded in the 12th century. Alafu we have the formal school expanded during the Industrial Revolution, and this was due to the need of the developments, and there was the technical skills that grew, and the world was growing technologically. So there was the need of people who are literate enough. So the school expanded from the informal setting to formal school setting. And then the Educational Act of 1870 marked the beginning of universal elementary education. When you talk of universal elementary education, you talk of the universal free education for all. Education being compulsory for all. There was no discrimination about the background or whatever. Everyone was allowed to access education. So the latest reforms, such as the Butler Education Act in 1944, established the free secondary education for all children, shaping the system still in place today. So until today, there is the secondary education, which is free, and it was reformed in the year 1944. So we talk of the educational philosophy. We have heard from Pius Mpendamani has talked about what is philosophy, and I think every one of you knows what philosophy is. So the British philosophy of education emphasizes on equal opportunities for all students, academic excellence, and character development. So education is viewed as both rights and social responsibility. So if we say that education is a right, we know that if we talk about rights of education for all, is that education was compulsory for everyone, and everyone had the opportunity to pursue education. If we talk of social responsibility, we talk about the community, the government, and everyone to support education. So the system balances the traditional academic subjects with personal development, citizenship, and vocational training. In the system of education, it balances the traditional academic subjects, like the tradition, their culture. Their culture was also incorporated in the educational system, such that even the culture was also taught in schools. It also emphasizes on creativity, critical thinking, and prepared for participation in democratic society. So we again look at educational system, where we have the educational system. We talk about from the preschool to the higher education. So we have the early years, which is the preschool, at the age of 3 to 5 years, where we talk about the nursery, the early years, where people receive the basic learning skill, the basic knowledge. And then you have the primary education at the age of 5 to 11 years, where it was divided into key stages, and the core subjects were English, mathematics, science, history, geography, arts education. So we also talked of secondary education, which was also divided into different stages, and students could take their general certificate of education. After the completion of secondary education, the third certificate one is given, which is known as the general certificate of secondary education. Then we have the further education at the age of 16 years to 18 years, where students will choose. There is the academic pathway. People choose what they are best for or what they are qualified at the vocational qualification, just like we talk about vocational qualification. Just like in Kenya, people go to vocational training and they do whatever they want there. Then we talk of further education, we talk of higher education, and this implies to university and colleges, which there is the undergraduate studies and the postgraduate studies. And after the university, we know you are given that there is the bachelor degree, and the famous universities in Britain include the Oxford and etc. So we have the educational system. So education under education system in Britain, we talk about the teacher education system. In UK are trained through universal based program or the school centered program. And the main route, as I've said, is the Bachelor of Education of the bachelor degree, where a teacher is qualified to teach. Then you have the postgraduate certificate, which is PGCE. Then you have the continuous professional development, CPD, which is also emphasized to ensure that teacher adapts the new method and technologies. Then we also have the curriculum of Britain, which the national curriculum set the subjects and the standard in schools of England, while Scotland, Wales, Northern, they vary from every nation. Then the core subjects include English, mathematics, science, and additional subjects were like history, geography, design, there is computing, art, music, and etc. So there is the funding model, just like in Kenya. Funding model was mainly generally through taxation, which the state school and all students were funded. We have the higher education, which is partially funded by the government, and but the students were required to pay tuition fees. Just like Kenya, the government usually fund us partially. We have the tuition fee, which are being paid at the school, and then there is that amount parents is allowed to pay. Then there is also the private schools or the private university, just like in Kenya, we have the private universities where the fee is paid by parents fully and the government does not pay anything. Then we have the current innovation, which is the current world. We talk about digital learning and technology integration, such as when you talk about digital learning and technology integration, we talk of online smart classroom. Then we talk of STEM promotion to prepare students for science, technology career. I know when I talk of STEM, I know everyone knows that we did it last semester, EFD. Then we have the inclusive education for child with special educational needs. So when we talk about inclusive education, just like King James has said earlier on, that inclusion is when the education is universal for all, that no one is discriminated, everyone is given the equal opportunity to access education, despite of their background, despite of their ethnicity or race. Everyone is given equal opportunity to pursue education. Then we have the global citizenship and sustainability. Then we have the apprenticeship of vocational pathway to strengthen students between education and employment. Thank you. I wish to stop at that point. Any question?
Yeah, in case there is any question, you can just post it on the Q&A.
The lecturer will say that there is any question. My heart is going. Okay. I want your screen share this function. Go ahead. Any question, please?
That's good. Let's have another person. Stop sharing. Person is ready. I want one or two more presentations. Who's ahead of everybody? Well, next. Let me see who is ready next. China is not today. We are going to give a presentation tomorrow. So group 10. And group 10 962, be ready. Then you have Lemayan. So 26962, please move very fast. With 26962, you are not a panelist. You can move on. The 6962, where are you? Oh, you presented. Oh, good. The 6962, they presented. Let me have somebody else. I think they presented. Was it ready?
Hello.
Nicholas Motweri. There's somebody called Nicholas Motweri in your group. Oh, this group is which
Hello.
one? One of the
Group 10.
Yes,
Group
you can
10.
move on.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Move on first.
So the previous groups have talked about education in England and America, so I'm going to talk about education systems in France. Can you see my screen?
Yes, move on. So before that,
Yes.
I would not want to go to France. I would have to then maybe next week I'll do 4. So I want us people with questions now, and one more presentation on either England or America. Want to finish up on that today. So next week we'll start from France and then we move on. So you'll be the first people to do the presentation. So let me have another.
So I do presentation on England.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can now start very fast, please.
Start. Education system in England, we are going to start with the history of education. In England, there are 6. Yes, there is early education. Early education was informal and church-led, where cathedrals and parish schools provided basic literacy, mainly for boys who were joining the clergy. In the 16th to 17th century, there was the formation of the grammar schools during the 1985 to 1603 period. In the 19th century, industrialization occurred and basic literacy and numeracy was required among workers. Therefore, government started granting grants for schools. In the early 20th century, there was expansion and secondary education was introduced. There was free secondary education for all. In the mid to late 20th century, comprehensive schools were formed where all the learners were given equal opportunities regardless of their background. The curriculum was also broadened, including arts, sciences, and vocational subjects. In the late 20th and 21st century, the time of now, there were stages introduced: the KS1 ages 5 to 7, KS2 ages 7 to 11, KS3 ages 11 to 14, KS4 ages 14 to 16, and KS5 ages 16 to 18. So the key features from the history of England was compulsory education ensured all children attended schools, state involvement, gradual shift from church schools to state-funded system. There was diverse pathways, academic, vocational, and technical education for various needs. There was focus on equality, aimed to reduce social barriers and provides equal opportunities for all. And there was examination and assessment. We are going to look at the education system based on educational philosophy. In England, philosophy, educational philosophy focused on teaching essential knowledge and skills that every student was supposed to learn, where it ensured all students had essential competencies for adulthood and citizenship. Number two was progressivism, where the philosophy emphasized in learning by doing, critical thinking, problem solving, and adapting education to the needs of the students. Number three was reconstructivism, where education addressed societal needs and prepared students to contribute positively to the society. Number four, humanism, where philosophy focused on individual student development, personal growth, and emotional well-being, which fostered motivation and holistic development for students. Number five, experimental learning, where they focused more on experience and practical application. Number six, moral and democratic philosophy, to encourage ethical behavior, civic responsibility, and respect for diversity among the learners. We are going to look at the system of education in England. So there is the early years, ages 3 to 5. That's the nursery school. It wasn't compulsory until the age of 5. Number two, there is primary education for ages 5 to 11, which includes KS1, Key Stage 1, and Key Stage 2. Number three was the secondary education, which had Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4, which equipped students with academic qualification and life skills, preparing them for further education. Stage 4 was the post-16th education for ages 16 and to 18. Here, the students choose academic pathway for universities or the vocational qualifications. Number five, there is the higher education, the universities and colleges, where there are degrees, undergraduate, bachelor's, postgraduates, and masters and the doctorates. Number six, compulsory education was for the ages 5 to 18. School types, there are the state-funded schools and the private schools. So the curriculum of the education system in England. The curriculum focused on, there is the early years foundation stage, where the curriculum focused on communication and language, physical development, personal and social and emotional development. The purpose was to encourage curiosity, social interaction, and readiness for primary school. In the primary education, that's Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2, the core subjects are English, mathematics, and science. In Stage 3, the secondary education for ages 11 to 16, curriculum balanced English, mathematics, science, humanities, and arts, and also technology, building knowledge foundation and develop critical thinking and creativity for the learners. There is a post-16 curriculum for ages 16 and 18. The learners specialized in the chosen fields, preparing for the higher education. Number 5, there is higher education curriculum for ages 18 plus, which included undergraduate degrees, postgraduate degrees, and which later and determined their profession. Curriculum characteristics in England: the national curriculum, stage-based or key stages. Learning was organized by age groups with clear objectives. The balanced approach to academic, vocational, and practical subjects include assessments, flexibility, and focused on inclusion. So, education system based on the education administration, there was the central government role. That in the central government role, there is the Department of Education, which sets national education policies and priorities. There is the Ofsted, Office of Standards in Education, which inspects and regulates schools, monitoring teaching quality, management, student outcomes, and welfare. The key function of the central government role was policy formulation, quality assurance, and inspection, and also funding the state-funded schools. Local education authorities, the LEAs, they were responsible for school administration, planning, and support services. Their role in most areas is support schools, allocating funding for specific needs, and coordinating admissions and placement. Number 3, there is school level administration, where there are state schools governed by school governing bodies and teachers. The role of its teachers was to manage staff and resources, implementing national curriculum, ensuring student welfare and discipline, and also reporting to local authorities and Ofsted. And number B, there is the academies and free schools, which operate independently from the local educated authorities. They are funded directly by the central government, greater autonomy in curriculum design, staffing, and finances. Number 4, there is a higher education administration, which is in universities and colleges. They are governed by a vice chancellor, similarly to Kenya, senate, and a board of governors. The responsibilities of the higher education administration was curriculum development, research oversight, financial management, and student welfare. Funding came from tuition fees, government grants, and private contributions, similarly to Kenya. The key features of the education administration in England was decentralized. It had multiple governance level, central government to local authority to school board, clear inspection and accountability systems, specialized administration for different school types, focused on quality and equity, and provided support services.
Finalize,
So
please.
education system in England. Yes?
Finalize. You have 1 minute to go.
Okay. I stopped sharing. What are you saying?
You
Not getting you
finalize.
well.
I'll give you 1 minute to finalize. That's what I've said.
Oh. So teacher education in England. In England, initial teacher education where there was university-based teacher training. That's a bachelor's or postgraduate degree. There is also the school-centered initial training teacher SCITT, which is practical. Trainees spend most of the time in classrooms supported by experienced teachers, and teach fast / graduate teacher programs. Fast track route for graduates to teach school with high need. Number 2, teacher certification and qualified teacher status. To teach in state school, teachers must go QTS, that is qualified teacher status. Certification is regulated by the Teaching Regulatory Agency. There is the induction period, the first year of teaching. Newly qualified teachers undergo a 1-year induction program where they are mentored by experienced teacher assessed against national standards and supported for professional development. Before there is a continuing professional development where teachers have workshops, seminars, and courses on teaching methods. And yes. Then I think I'm done.
Okay, so stop sharing. Then you have Ali, group 5. So Ali group. Let's move faster, please. Each are 5 minutes. Ali Aizadin, are you there? We pass. Ali Aizadin. Not there.
Yes, sir.
Can you present?
It's Nick Mutweri, the one who is presenting.
Very fast.
Nick
Very
Mutweri.
fast. Yes. For group 10, Nicholas.
Group 5, Nicholas Mutweri.
Yeah, so you are same group with Ali. So very fast, please. 5 minutes.
Share the penalty list to Nick Mutweri.
Yes. You can present now. You have the permission. Share the screen. Please, we're waiting for you. Share the screen.
You're supposed to pass the name to Nick Mutweri.
But I've done that. So share the screen. What am I passing again? Nick Muturi, I've given you the right. What is the problem? Please stop wasting time. Stop wasting time. So you go to Victor Kaivia. Victor Kaivia for the same group. And this group, you have problems, eh? We're not allowed to waste our time. Please, if you are not ready again, we are going to give other group a chance. Because this Muturi is not there to be found. So where's Victor? If you're not ready, I give you 30 seconds. Not ready, then we disqualify you.
I'm ready, Daktari.
Present now.
Okay, this is group 5 presenting on the education system in China. Let's do on China now. Okay,
No,
here we go.
England. We're still doing England.
Okay, Daktari.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, history of education in England. It was conducted in the medieval times where it was dominated by the church. That is the Catholic Church. Education was conducted by the Catholic Church. Grammar schools educated illiterate children. Grammar schools educated illiterate children. There was the Industrial Revolution, which expanded literacy needs. At that time of the Industrial Revolution, most of the people they were able to be educated. Yes, as we continue, the 1870 Education Act made schooling compulsory. So that it means that most of the people were now able to be educated. So because it was free and it was compulsory for everyone. In the 1944 Batra Act, it is restructured the education system, replacing with the one that were there earlier. In the 1960s, there was comprehensive schools replaced by the selective systems. Also, academic schools emerged in the 2000. As we can see, here the modern focus was on inclusivity and equality and equity in education. We have seen that at that time, many of the people were now able to get to be educated because it was compulsory, and it favored for the global competitiveness. Okay, as we continue, we go to the education philosophy in England. We say that liberal humanism emphasizes well-rounded development. That is in the education philosophy in England. There was also the aspect of critical thinking and inquiry was highly valued. That was another education philosophy in England. Next is the education was seen as a public good. Yani with education, you are good to go. It may be in social aspect, religious aspect, or you could be someone of power. Yani there was the individual achievement balanced with the social responsibility. There was that achievement. It enabled the balancing with the social responsibility. We can say also that there was equality of opportunity is emphasized. It was emphasized. That is, since most of the people who are now educated, now there was equality of opportunities. Many or more people are now had opportunities to do things all because they are now educated. It also emphasized on lifelong learning. That kusoma sana or lifelong learning. There was also the aspect of creativity and innovation encouraged at that time. There was that aspect of creativity. Children or those who are educated were now to conduct or were able to do things in their own way because they are now learned. You cannot compare a person with learned and that who is illiterate. The way of doing things, it is totally different. Then there was the moral and the civic education that played an important role. Next, we go on system of education in England. It was structured into key stages. There was the KS1 up to KS5. Then next, there was the primary education, which covered from those children from age 5 to 11. There was also the secondary education, which included JSE exam, which was done at the age of 16. These are now mature people. There was the further education, which included A levels or vocational training. Some now the year people are now able to gain some skills in the vocational training. There was also the higher education, which involves the universities and polytechnics. Here now, people are now able to achieve the academic. They could have bachelor's degree or any other course of their choice. Then there's the public or state funded and independent. Then there was the public and independent private schools that existed. We can see even in Kenya, there is the public schools and the private schools. Even in the universities, secondary schools, primary, we have that all aspects. There was the Ofsted inspect and regulate schools, emphasizing on accountability and the standard. Next, we go on the curriculum in England. The curriculum in England, that is the national curriculum, its main role was to set the core subjects, that is the English, mathematics, science, which were compulsory at the age of 16. There was also the GSES test subject knowledge at secondary levels. Now those subjects now are tested in at secondary levels. There was the A levels which prepared students for universities. Like I think that you couldn't join to the universities without being tested for the A levels. In Kenya, you cannot join universities without being or without doing the Kenya National Exam KCSE and perform a grade of C plus and above. That is in Kenya. In England, there was the vocational training which provided practical skills, kazi ya mikono, or something that you can do with your own hands. There was the curriculum reforms that were able that adapt to economic needs. These curriculum reforms that they could may sometimes favor economic needs of the people, or sometimes they could be of disadvantage to the people, since not every person was rich or was economically stable. I think even in Kenya we have such scenario. Then we have the schools have autonomy in arrangement subjects. There was the ICT and
3 minutes.
so
3 minutes. So make sure it's finalized.
yes, lecturer. There was the
So you
ICT
make
and
to
the
go faster,
digital.
please.
Yes, there was the ICT and the digital, the literacy and integrated. We have the education administration in England. There was the Department for Educations, which oversees policies, that is the education policies. There was the local authorities, which supported schools. There was the Ofsted which regulated quality and standard in education. There was the teachers who could manage individual schools. We have said that there was private and public schools. So the teachers could manage such schools. Then there was the academies, all semi-independent. I don't know what that means. Then there was the governors and the trustees who could provide oversight in schools. Then we have the aspect that parliament shapes national legislation. I think this is about the laws. Legislation is all about laws. Maybe parliament had something to do with laws regarding the education system in England. Then there was the strong focus on accountability. Accountability, how things are done in the school or in the general education system. Then there is the education financing in England. The publicly funded through taxation. There was the independent schools. Hapa kila mtu alikuwa anajilipia pesa yake. That is the independent schools. Even in Kenya, independent schools or private schools, each person is required to pay some amount of money. There was the student loans and which financed higher education. Then there was the government which provided grants for disadvantaged school. We can see even in Kenya the new funding model as somehow favored some people or some students, while others have been disadvantaged. It was also seen in England. Then there was the universities funded through tuition fees and research grants. Then there was the scholarship programs which supported equity. Then there was the teacher education in England, which is it is the last. A bachelor degree was required for teachers. There was the postgraduate certificate in education, which is PGCE, which was very common. Then there was the aspect of qualified teachers status, which was the most mandatory. Then there was the continuous professional development was also encouraged. Then there was also the specialist training in Sin, CEN, and subject teaching. Then there was the mentorship program which supported new teachers. Lastly, we look about we deal with the education innovation in England. There was the expansion of academic schools, integration of ICTs in classrooms. There was emphasis on STEM education, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Then there was the personalized learning approaches that each individual, each learner was taken care of or was monitored. That is the personalized learning approach. Then there was the inclusive education policies, whereby even a learner with disability or any kind of need, he or she could be assistant and to learn. Then there was the closed curricular learning models. Then lastly, we have it focused on employability skills, and finally the global citizenship education emphasized. I'm done. That is group
Good.
5.
Thank you. That is that group 5.
Thank you, lecturer.
So that's our next group. Which group is ready? Stella Gao, group 18. Maybe it could be Stella Gao. Are you there? I'm not able to make you the panelist. I don't know why, what's happening. Please, if you are panelists, you can remove that you can have some others, because it's becoming a jam.
Okay.
You can remove as panelists, you can maybe move out, then you can get in again.
Okay, let me leave.
Leave so that you can have some others to get in.
Okay, I'm
all
done.
the panelists, please, all the panelists to move out, and then you get in again. Ali Azida. Move out, Ali. Pius Davuta. You can log out and log in again. Davuta, please. Murugi Wainaina Sharin. Move out and then come in. 25991. Victor also. You can just log out and then log in so that you can have some space for others, please. Pius Davuta. Kadia Victor. 25991. Just log out and then log in. Stop sharing your screen, please, also. So Stella Gao, please share your screen. Stella Gao, please share your screen. Can you hear me? It seems you have challenges, eh? You have challenged the network. Now, I don't know, we cannot able to have some other panel, but these people refuse to be, they're still panelists. So they need to move so that as we can have others on board. So there are two things that I need to remind you. Just one sharing, then you can call it a day. Able to see my screen? If yes, please let me know. Can you see my screen? Is that yes or no? Yeah, we can have a little break.
First thing to note is that there are some differences in the education in England, Scotland, and Wales, mainly in terms of breadth and depth of curriculum, awarding and regulating body. However, today I'm mainly focusing on England's education system. The first thing to note is that from the age of 5 to 16, education in the UK is compulsory. This means that a child must complete primary.
So I want you to give me after this the takeaway, what you have mastered in this video, because it's quite a summary of what you have done on English education system. That's England. So please take notes. Take notes.
And Wales, mainly in terms of breadth. School. And from the age of 16 to 18, you must do one of three things. One, gain full-time education like the sixth form, shows the education in England, Scotland, and Wales, mainly in terms of breadth and depth of curriculum, awarding and regulating body. However, today I'm mainly focusing on England's education system. The first thing to note is that from the age of 5 to 16, education in the UK is compulsory. This means that a child must complete primary and secondary school. And from the age of 16 to 18, you must do one of three things. One, stay in full-time education like the sixth form, which I will explain later. Two, start an apprenticeship or trainee program. Or three, spend 20 hours or more a week working or volunteering, while also in part-time education or training. The good news is that if you were to go to a state school, education will be free, which means that there are no fees to pay and that everything is provided for in terms of notes and stationery. However, you could choose to go to a private school, also known as independent or indie or public school. In these schools, you will have to pay fees. There's a huge fee range for these schools. It could be as little as 15k per year, or as much as 25k or more per year, excluding uniforms and trips. Yet another option is to homeschool or elective home education. You can contact your local council for more information about this. Let's start at the very beginning. Once you have a child, you could choose to have your child stay home or send your child to a childminder or a nursery, for whatever reason you may have. In the year that your child turns 5, they will be eligible for primary school in the level known as reception. However, you must make application 1 year prior. Just remember that education is compulsory from reception onwards. This is a chart that will show you the progression of a child through his school career in England. After reception, children will move on to the infant primary school, which is years 1 and 2. Then they move on to the junior section of primary school, which is year 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just a point to note, reception in year 1 is known as pre-prep in private schools, while year 3 is known as prep in private schools. Another point to note is that various schools have got various entry points. So it is wise that before you choose which primary school you would like to send your child to, take a moment to examine the primary school route that is best suited for your child and your circumstance. After primary school, your child would move on to secondary school. Most state schools would base their entry requirements on how far a student lives from the school. However, if you would like to go to a more competitive school, like perhaps a private school or a state selected school, also known as grammar school sometimes, then you've got to take an entrance exam. The entrance exam is normally known as the 11 plus exam, and this is only taken at the beginning of year 6. Whichever route you choose to take, you have to make an application by 31st of October. The results of your application will be made known on National Offer Day, which is the 1st of March. We next move on to secondary school, which culminates in the GCSE, or General Certificate of Secondary Education. This is an examination that covers a set of core subjects like English, math, and science, as well as elective subjects that students choose, such as humanities, arts, PE, and languages. Generally, a student is encouraged to take exams for 5 subjects. After that, students can choose the academic path or the vocational path. In the academic path, students would enter what is known as O. This is where students are geared towards the A-level examination, which will help them at the university. The examination normally comprises of 3 to 4 steps. If a student decides to go to vocational colleges, then they will qualify in practical skills within 2 BTEC or NQV in subjects such as childcare or plumbing. After that, they can start their apprenticeship or get into employment. For students with the A levels, they can then enter university with 1 subject of interest to them. This is generally a 3-year undergraduate honors program where one gets a bachelor's degree at the end, after which they can start their career path. Now let me explain a little about the national curriculum. It's basically a framework to help standardize the content across all schools, which all states have to follow. However, private schools do not have to follow the national curriculum strictly. The national curriculum is divided into 5 key stages known as KS1, KS2, KS3, and KS4. Year 1, marks of stage where assessments will be undertaken in one form or other. In Year 1, children will learn phonics and reading for English and math. At the end of Year 1, there will be a phonics reading test, which will be teacher assessed. In Year 2, in addition to teacher assessment in math and science, there will also be a national test on phonics. This will include real words and made-up words to determine if a child is pronouncing the word phonetically. KS2 will run from Year 3 to Year 6, and there will be 2 tests. The first one is a cognitive ability test, which will be done in Year 4. This will test how well a student can think about tasks and solve problems using a range of different questions. The test doesn't require any prior knowledge, and it's not something that you need to learn. The questions are generally similar to verbal and non-verbal questions. The results will help determine which way a child learns best, like verbally or visually. The other test will be done in Year 6 and is known as a SET. This is basically a national test as well as teachers' assessments in English and maths as well as science. We then move on to Key Stage 3, before Year 7 and 9 in secondary school. The tests include core subjects such as English, maths, and science. Other subjects like languages, humanities such as literature, history, geography, religious knowledge, citizenship, computing, PE, arts, painting, music are also tested. In Stage 4 is for Years 10 and 11. During these stages, students will be working towards the GCSE in subjects that they have chosen. Generally, one will take 5 GCSE, but most students take more than that. KS5 is for the 6th form and it comprises of 2 levels, sometimes called the AS in the first year and A in the second year. The 6th form really focuses on the A-level examination. This exam will determine the course that a student will be eligible for in university. Generally, students take 3 or 4 subjects. If you make the grade for university, then you will have to choose a subject you like to study and apply for that particular course through an umbrella body called UCAS. You can put down several choices of courses and university. The course you will undertake will be known as an undergraduate course and normally lasts 3 years, after which you get your bachelor's degree. Bachelor's degrees are graded first class, which is more than 70%, second class average or 2-1, which is between 60 to 70%, and second second class lowers or 2-2, which is 15%. Then there's also the third class, and of course, if you don't make the grade, then it's a fail. After your bachelor's degree, you may choose to start your career or carry on for a master's degree, which is normally 1 year. And if you enjoy academia, you can always carry on for a postdoc degree, which normally takes about 3 years. So there you go. I hope I have given you the most comprehensive insight into the UK's education system. If you have any comments.
Thank you. I think we're almost finalizing now. So I want to give the assignment for next week. So please, we are going to do the way we have been doing the assignment. We're going to look at France. So take it down. France. We're going to look at China, Finland, and Canada. So we're going to look at 4 countries in the next class. So the features that we are handling is the same parameters from philosophy, teacher education, all this curriculum. What I only change is the countries. So we are going to look at France, China, Finland, and Canada. So we're going to start with the groups that have not presented. So make sure you present a slide like those groups have done today. Very good job. And though we are going to do the presentations, that will be the next week. I'm sure it will be next week, but one. Because the next week on Wednesday, where we may not have a class in the evening because you have a cut the same day on Wednesday. So prepare for the cut and also prepare. I've given you 4 because you have a quite long time. If you're able, also can look at South Africa because you have a lot of time, like 2 weeks. I'm saying we'll not meet in the next class because of course the next week we'll have a cut. The cut, you're going to share the groups at the venues where I'm going to sit. So we are going to share this with your class reps. Then number 2, tomorrow, please note this carefully. I'll check the e-learning. You should have done all the work up to week 5. So this is not optional. There will be marks for e-learning. So if you've never concentrated, done anything from group A, B, C, D, make sure you do the forum, the discussion forum. Make sure you do the assignment and the reflection. So there are 3 things I'll be checking. This work will be checked tomorrow morning. So please, tomorrow, maybe midday. I can give it to Modern tomorrow so that by evening, I'll do the grading for the e-learning. I'll do the grading for e-learning. Please take it seriously. Kavia, we're not sharing the screen now, please. So I think with that now, as far as a question, I think we stop there. Thank you for being there, listening. I'll give you the attendance list next week. I see some people have moved out of class before time, so I'm going to look at that. So please prepare for the cut. It's next week on Wednesday morning. Should be there by 6:45. So the cut will start at 7. We'll start with ECT, then you do EFE. So please, e-learning. E-learning is very critical. Those who have e-learning issues, then tomorrow morning, then you can ask me questions, but you can also visit the Odell. Please, if you have any learning group, visit Odell tomorrow morning. Visit Odell, they will give you them assistance also there. Thank you so much. Very engaging. I think that is a good work. Kudos, all of you. Have a nice evening, and then we meet next week. Thank you so much. Those who have no problems on Odell, I'm also be there in the office on Friday morning. You can visit me on Friday morning at the examination office. I'll be there. So you can also visit me and check what could be the challenges. Okay? Friday morning, I'll still be there. But please try to do this work by tomorrow. Dr. Muchungu is with us. Maybe you wanted to say something to greet you. Dr. Muchungu, we are teaching with him. Let me unmute him. Muchungu, you can say something. Muchungu, are you there? We cannot hear you. Dr. Muchungu, we cannot hear you. Thank you so much. I think I end there. Thank you so much.
Have a good night, guys.
Pius,
Yes,
you can leave the meeting now. You can leave the meeting now. I want to
you
start
can do the
my,
presentation now.
now I can present to you now.
Yes, can you present, please? I want to grade the marks.
Okay, so you can go to the e-learning portal.
Yeah, make sure that you go to the e-learning portal
Yeah, check. I have
and do all
updated
those
the assignment.
activities.
I have updated the assignment for week 5. I'm
Yeah,
going
sure.
to grade.
Yeah, can you be serious?
Yeah, I will download the attendance list. So if you have not been attending the class,
Yes, sure. So in case you have a question, you can go to the Q&A and you can ask the question. Who are ready to present?
we are waiting for the questions, please.
who are ready to present? Yes, I can see Jackson Obuya raised the hand. So I can unmute Jackson Otubia. So which question do you have? Motie. I see we have Victor Kadia, our lecturer here.
Yes, your corrector is here.
Can you unmute your
Unmute or
Can you
unmute?
unmute your mic?
Okay.
Yeah. Kama hata sija select ni gani na present. Klasi imeisha.
Nakupenda yes. Okay, so you can leave at your own pressure.
Any question for those who have not left? Kadi, are you there?
Yes. I wish you a good night.
Oh, we wish them a good night. I see there are some people who are asking us tuko aje.
Waambie tuko salama.
Tuko very fine. Mothe Florinma, Romina. We are very
Mungavia
fine.
Kare, naona unauliza mmepewa opportunity.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, ambia Mungavia
We are
Kare pia
fine.
next time atapewa opportunity.
Yeah, we must utilize every opportunity that we see. Utawaipatia wazumo wapi? Alex Moigai, what is your question? Have you cooked supper? Umepikiwa supper ama umepika?
Amepika huyo.
Amepikiwa supper. Let me see the participants. So encourage you who is I can allow Alex to talk. Alex, you can talk. Unmute yourself. Alex Moiga, you can talk. What is your question? Alex. Or Irene, you want to talk? Okay, let me allow you to talk, Irene. I think you have a question. Irene. Where are the participants? And don't leave, guys. I'm going to collect the attendance. Let me see if I can see Irene. Irene, unmute yourself. Irene, you can talk.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
So my concern is
Yes.
about lecture 2.
Yes.
About the historical development of comparative education. So I understand that there are 4 phases that explain the development of comparative education. And my concern is on the first and the second phase, and also the third. We have those contributors, like for example, in phase 1, the period of travelers' tales or the period of prehistoric or ancient time. We have people like Plato.
Yes, Plato.
And Xenophon. There are so many. I'm just giving examples. So I was asking whether maybe in examinations we can be asked about the contribution of, let's say, for example, someone like Plato. And when you look at the first phase, we have about 7 of them. When you come to the second phase, we have more than 8 of them. So how can we be able to differentiate between those who participated in phase 1 and also in phase 2 from those also who participated in phase 3, because they are different and they have different contributions?
Okay.
So that's my concern, and I like what you guys are doing. Practice makes it perfect. When right now you are trying to act like a lecturer, and I'm believing that God can make it real.
Amen.
Yeah, so that's my concern. So I'm requesting that someone should maybe clarify to me concerning that. Thank you.
So I can see, welcome, you're welcome. So I can see Alex Moigai has raised hand. Is there any concern before we answer Irene Murioki? Alex, I have unmuted you. Can I unmute yourself? So admission to 2027-94. So you're asking about the card. So the card, we said it will be on next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, it will be communicated in the group. So Irene.
Yes.
Can you repeat your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you share your screen?
I have nothing on the screen to share. Actually, I'm using my book, my notebooks.
Oh, let me search online. I can share the screen.
So my concern is just very general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking whether when I look at lecture 2, you have different phases.
A few minutes.
And
Okay, you can now speak to be typing.
so I'm asking,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at lecture 2 on historical development of curriculum and education, we have 4 different phases. And in each case, we have the participants or the philosophers who contributed to the development of that phase. For example, in the first phase, we have people like Plato, Julius Caesar, Marco Polo. There are around 7 of them. When we look at the second phase, we have so many of them. So a person like Victor Cassin, Peter the Great, Mark Antony. There are so many, and also in the phase 3 and also in phase 4. So my concern is in examination, can the lecturer just pick any contributor from any phase and ask you to describe or explain or highlight some of the contributors of such a philosopher in the development of comparative education, I mean. And when I look at the PDF, it's so much in detail, so many stories there. You can't even identify the specific points. It's kind of tiresome to master the contributions of each and every one of these philosophers. That's my point. So if someone can clarify on that, I'll be grateful.
So who is ready to answer her question? But me particularly, what I know is that it can just come as an application question regarding your concern. Like how you used to, like for example, you talked about the John Dewey in the whatever it was called sociology. So you can find that the lecturer is asking you how you can apply the John Dewey sociology philosophy in education. Let's say, for example, when you talk about the CBC, how you can apply that. Are we together? Irene, are we together?
Yes, we are together.
We are very together. So I think your question is a bit answered, but I think it is all about It's all about application, how you can apply it. So any person who can be able to answer a question. I can see that there is a person who has raised her hand. So Alex, can you unmute yourself? I think you can have the answer to her question. Can you unmute yourself? I have given you the platform for you to speak. Alex? Alex, let me see how I can do then. Let me see if I can unmute you. So you can see a pop-up that is requesting you to unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself. Thank you. Alex, can you speak? Alex? Alex, you have raised the hand again. So what is your suggestion? Can you type in the name? I can see that the lecture is having me. He is giving me a platform where I can see if I can become a lecturer. Irene, also you can make a good lecturer. Irene.
Yes.
You can also become a good lecturer.
Are you sure?
Very sure, 100%. Alex, you can speak.
What makes you say so?
Even how you compose and you can talk, how you talk.
Oh, yeah. I know my voice is very audible and easy to hear.
And easy to understand if you illustrate a certain point.
It's only that somehow I'm shy, but I'm very good at explaining to people that I know, like when we have built that rapport or that relationship with you.
Yeah, so all about shyness, it will come as it will fade automatically, or as we go on, that shyness will fade.
Yeah, I believe so, and I'm also trying to eliminate it.
Yeah, sure. You must look for platform like, for example, the churches. You can go there and start giving testimonies. If you give a test, or you don't go to church.
I don't go to church, but somehow I'm not kind of active in church programs and.
You ought to be. You find a platform or a way where you can be able to build that confidence in you.
I was thinking of a platform. Let's say an online one that I can be doing during my free time using my Wi-Fi and my phone. But I haven't identified one.
You have not yet identified one.
Yeah.
I am here.
How can you help me?
So you know the shyness comes when you see someone.
Yes, when I see someone physically, that is it.
Yeah, because you have not used to be together, you have not used to seeing me.
Yes.
So we can, for example, be creating a Zoom where you can be talking physically, expressing yourself and the like. Yeah. So at that juncture, you'll be able to build that confidence in you. Yeah, sure.
Let me see.